Are we live? Hey, here we are. I think. Maybe. Is there a delay? I can't tell. We're going to find out. We are going to find out. So, let me real quick before we get started. I think everyone can tell from the title what we're going to talk about today. But us quickly make sure people know we are live. That's what we're here for. Everyone to be here talking with us, chatting with us. This is also the first live stream for us, Roger's Review. So hopefully this is working properly because we just set it up. Let's see. Hey, we've got audio, we've got video. Bam. Let me just post it and we will get started in a moment because we've got a lot to talk about. All the things. I mean, it's been a season. It has been a season. And I admit, when The Last of Us was announced, I didn't quite know how to feel about it. I've watched people play the video games. I have not played them myself necessarily, but you know, people enjoy it. I enjoyed watching people play it, and I was very excited to see what they were going to do with the show. And just real quickly, this was a test. I don't know how people post these things before they're there, but we're just going to post this in places. Hopefully get some people in the chat. Again, that's what we want to hear. Oh. Who else? Another thing. Okay. So we've got this set up here. I have some notes that I've taken throughout the season. And I've got some themes, I've got some specifics, and we're going to put this on the chart. We have good to bad. Although honestly, there's not a lot of bad that I saw in the show. There's also, you know, faithful to the video games and introduced in the show, because I think those are good distinctions to make. And so this is just a chart I use for quite a few things, and I think we're going to see if we can do it here today. And yeah, we'll get started. So, from my notes, there are quite a few areas we can be. Where to start, where to start, where to start. And of course, my heater turns on. See if it gets picked up in the. I tried to do some editing and some recording for the episodes throughout the season, and some things decided to interfere, like my heater and my cat. Don't think it's getting picked up, so I think we are actually good to go, thankfully. Let me know in the chat if it is an issue. Already, if it's not getting picked up here, we are 100% better than me trying to edit these things. Okay, The Last of Us. We have got a few things. 100%, we have to start with the practical world building. So I've listened to a lot of the back and forth, the podcast information, interviews by the creatives for the show. And you know what, one thing they do that is super, super amazing and I love is the fact that they have practical effects for building out their set. So this is huge. There are so many examples that I would say are in the show. And we're gonna have to make this small because I have a feeling that there's gonna be some. It's definitely introduced in the show. From episode 1, they did a fantastic job. What they did is the whole introduction of Sarah and the whole zombie breakout scene there. They built the town. They had people running around. They had the fires going off. They had people breaking glass. They had zombies roaming around. This was all done with real people, real costumes, real makeup, real set design. And it just adds depth to the show that I think is missing. A lot of shows, a lot of movies kind of rely on CGI these days. And it is kind of sad. Special effects have come a long way, but they do not add the gravitas that real sets have. And I miss having them in movies and in TV shows, and I am super happy that they decided to have it here. So that is from episode 1. We are looking at this though through the entire season. So there are other examples. We're gonna go over what is the episode where we have our bloater, our ginormous zombie, The Last of Us season 1. We're gonna make sure we correctly identify the right episode here. So it's the one with Kathleen, and so that's with Sam and Endure and Survive, as well as Please Hold My Hand. So like they have these rooms set up with the newspaper covering the glass and the sunlight coming through. Like these are all things that could have been done with CGI, probably not done as well. Real effects. You have Endure and Survive. You've got the giant zombie swarm. You've got real people in costumes with blood and acting their butts off. And you've got some of the talk that the creatives had behind the scenes when they're creating the bloater and everything. They put a lot of work into it. It is a lot of practical effects. And I think it shows. It shows. The other big one, I have some screenshots that we can pull up. All HBO did a great job. So let me pull up real quick the other one that there's a lot that you can find about how they did this, and it's fascinating. So here we've got the carousel, and I had debated doing this. So this is our first try doing this kind of thing. Let me see. Let me see. Hold on. I know I can. Screenshots, carousel. So you know what? We're gonna put this. It'll be maybe like a mood board by the time we're done with this, right? So they have this carousel that they created, and they painted it. They made it look like it was in disrepair. It's just so fascinating. And the arcade, they did that as well. They built all of these things. Just so cool because like you build these things and then age them to look 20, is it 20 years? I think, yeah, 20 years since the zombie apocalypse. It's just so cool and so well done. They put a lot of time, a lot of thought, a lot of everything. And of course, there's other stuff that we can talk about. Um, but yeah, so I was thinking maybe this is, we'll see. But this is a good example. Practical effects, designs, set design, really, really cool stuff there. Yeah, that's top top of my notes here. Um, just so good. Not that. Again, if people are here during the live show, our first testing, please stop by the chat, give us some info of what your favorite thing is, what you liked. There are some things that you didn't like. We are also curious there. Mm, that's bad. Okay, well, we'll figure it out. The left side says. Okay, so there's that. We also have. Okay, what's next? We were covering that. Um, talked about the zombies. Oh my god, the other thing, the Boston QZ, that entire zone, again, built from scratch. They had their set design. It did not exist before the show. It was built for this set specifically. Yeah, okay, I think we've hit that. What else we got? What else we got? Things. Chemistry between the actors. I mean, what the hell can you say about it? Like, it is just something that you've got Bella Ramsey and you've got Pedro Pascal, and together it just works. The two of them together just works so well. And even the interviews after the show, during the show, you can tell the way they joke with each other, the way they laugh, how affectionate they are, between them, between the writers, the producers on the show. Just they go really well together. And you have them, you have their some of the minor characters, some of the people who show up. I mean, it's introduced in the show because that is their actors. Although we'll hit on this later. Some of the actors from the video games were put in the show as well. Not necessarily in the same not exactly in the same roles most of the time, but they are a part of the show, and it was great to see them. So can't exactly. Most of them were introduced in the show, but Bella Ramsey, Pedro Pascal. Who is the actress who plays Riley? That was really well done. So the episode Left Behind, we have Bella Ramsey and Storm Reed, I want to say. Yes, who plays Riley. Very, very, very good chemistry between them. Um, and then again, that was one mini story that we got to see. There was a whole other story, chemistry between the acts. We had an episode 3, long, long time between Bill and Frank. The chemistry between those two actors just made it so believable and like got everybody to buy in to how they were reacting. It was just their story. You have a combination of the writing, the acting, the direction they took. It was just really, really well done. I'm actually like tearing up just talking about it right now. And I will say, I deliberately picked this shirt a little bit, and we did talk a little bit about episode 3. So here is what the shirt says. Death is only the end if you assume the story is about you. And in this case, the story is Bill and Frank plus everyone else. Their survival, their love, how they were able to stay alive together for so long. And you can't see the shirt, but I'm gonna try it on. But I deliberately picked this shirt. There you go. Death is only the end if you assume the story is about you. So their love story will go on forever. Yeah, the chemistry between the actors. Super, super cool. Very, I really truly enjoyed them. And of course we also had, oh man, the casting. I mean, you have Tess, who between her and Bella Ramsey and Pedro Pascal. So the actress who played Anna Torv, you got Tess, you got Pedro Pascal. You've got the QZ zone army people, Fedra people. They all play their parts really well. And I mean, even, oh man, there's so many at the beginning. You've got Nico Parker, who plays Sarah and Pedro. It's just every single episode that we're in, the writing for the characters, the acting from the actors, it just all together makes a great story. Let me see if I can get myself on the camera. Again, I'm new. Nope, wrong way. I'm new at these things. Okay, it's our first live stream. We can figure this out. We can figure this out. Okay, now I know where I need to be and not move my chair. Right. Let me just quickly. We can laugh at ourselves here, right? We can laugh at ourselves. Yeah. So the characters, and also, we can't not mention the episode again, Endure and Survive, and you have the actors who are picked out to play Henry. Sorry, his name is Henry, not Sam. I'm not sure why I was jumping back. But Lamar Johnson, as well as the little brother, which is Kayvon Woodard. Oh my God, those two together on screen, just like you see the bond between the two of them, and it's just so well done. I have a very specific discussion point I want to make with their casting choice of Kayvon Woodard. I really do. So we are gonna save that discussion for later. Okay. So casting. You know, it's not just the actors, it was also the creatives as well as the casting directors. They knew which characters they wanted to give screen time, how far they were willing to go with the boundaries of the game, what they were willing to lean into, and what they were able to give that feedback to the casting team to find the right people for the right roles. And how they chose to deviate from the story a little bit. So for instance, Sarah, who's played by Nico Parker, she gets double the screen time in the show than in the video games, and it just really helps you buy into the love that Joel slash Pedro Pascal has as a father to his daughter and how much he's willing to go for her. And ultimately, that it's not going to work out, but he did his best. Really broken. So that is something that it's like up, tearing up. Um, yeah, let's go. I'm curious if anyone is in the chat. Uh, Setting the stakes. There were some things that were done for um, the show that were not necessarily done to the extent in the video game. So, what happened is there are things like in the Fedra controlled quarantine zones, that's a QZ. There are some very specific um, things that were there, and it just adds to the depth of what these people are going through in this crazy apocalyptic. So you've got people getting hanged for being out of bounds, potentially putting themselves in danger, putting QZ in danger because they could get bitten and come back. And right from the very beginning, that change of, hey, this is normal life with Joel and Sarah, normal teenager in 2003, and then what it's like living in this zone where Joel is in charge of doing these dirty jobs that have to be done, and you're talking not just burning the bodies of dead people, you're talking about kids, and the day in and day out of these kids. This person was bit and they died, and you have to dispose of the body, and who's going to do that? And you get these little cards with your food credit, money credit, whatever it is. You get that for doing the dirtiest jobs that have to be done. You see the army guy is pretty desperate to stay awake to do his job, not get in trouble, so he's smuggling. He's exchanging some of those tickets for pills to stay awake. Later on in episode, which episode is endure and survive, and please hold my hand. Please hold my hand. You realize, hey, we're in another QZ zone, and those people are even more desperate. They were able to get Fedra out of their city. They pushed them out, and they are now in charge. And you have people's desperations for keeping control. And now that they have power, they want to use it. And you see a bunch of people locked up in a cage. They are being interrogated at, where Henry is, and they are terrified. You've got some people who break and say, "Hey, God, this is where he is." And they are promised that they're going to get trials. They'll be able to say their piece. And when Kathleen walks out the door, she says to her right hand man, like, "No, we're not giving them trials. Just go in and kill them all." And that's the stakes that we are living in these different QZ zones. And yeah, we can we can even talk about here, I'm going to put it on a chart here. um, the lovely religious group that is having food problems. Now, I'm not sure. I know Kathleen, that is not set to the game, but I'm trying to remember the crazy religious boundaries that are put in towards the end. I mean, with the whole cannibalism, lovely, lovely cannibalism. Um, that was an episode, but that shows how desperate a group of people will turn, because it wasn't just Kevin, who is the religious leader of. Oh wait, no, it's not Kevin. Scott Shepherd as David. It wasn't just him making the decision to go in and cut up the dead people who are your family members, your father, your brother. I don't know who else was died and they were planning to eat, but it wasn't just him. There were some other key people in his flock that were part of the decision to keep doing this, and it kept their people alive. But what does that lead these people to? And maybe we'll find out a little bit in season 2. But we okay. Okay. Okay, setting the stakes. Talked a little bit about the actors, practical world effects. Okay. One of my ones I want to show the adorableness. It's Ellie. She is so cute. She has some of the few times we get to see in season 1 of her innocence is when she gets to meet some animals, specifically some baby animals. But we have a few instances that I want to pull up here because they must be done. Um, so let's put it in here. I think it is love of baby animal. Well, okay, animals. Um, so I'm hoping some people in the chat tell me if this is in the video game or if it's not. I do know I was able to confirm that we've got the giraffe. The giraffe is from the video games, and as a matter of fact, the giraffe is real. What happened is they um, took where they were filming, which was not in Pittsburgh, but it was in. Okay, this wasn't in Kansas City. Kansas City was the episode with Kathleen, Endure and Survive, and then they moved on to the city of where's the giraffe? I'll have to look that up. But there was a zoo, and they were training the giraffe to handle other people. So there's actually, here it is. So somebody wrote about this. So they were actually getting the giraffes used to real people, and then they put blue screen up next to them. But this is a scene from the game that they were able to incorporate into the real show. And it's just one of those things that when you see how it plays out and how much Ellie loves this kind of thing, and she just lights up, it breaks her somber mood. She is really messed up because of everything that she's been through with the crazy religious cult leader. And this giraffe just makes her break into her innocent childhood joy. And it's just lovely. So, Ellie and the giraffe. This is 100% from the video games and super amazing. There was also, so let me see. There was the part with the dogs. Got some screenshots here. So like there's a part in the episode where they are going to meet Tommy in his, well, they don't know they're going to meet Tommy. But they have this dog, and Joel is kind of terrified that this dog, who's supposed to be able to sniff out the fact if somebody's infected or not, and he thinks that the dog is gonna rip and tear Ellie apart. So what ends up happening is the dog is like, "Oh, you're an adorable child," and she is like, "You're an adorable dog," and she ends up petting him, and she's smiling and laughing, and it's adorable, and completely breaks the tension that Joel had. And so 1,000%, you know, she loves animals there. And then I don't know if I got a screenshot of this. Oops. Let me put this down. Again, this is our first time doing something like this, so we might edit this later. So I'm not sure if this is from the TV show as well. There's another one where she's got a horse, where she's like, there's like a baby horse in that little utopia of a village that Tommy is in, and she's just like, "You're adorable. I want to pet you, horse. I want to do all the things. You're so cute." So yeah, there's a giraffe, there's a horse, there's the dog. He just loves animals. Loves it. Okay. What else we got? Been talking for a little bit. I've had some. Yeah, let's see how things go. There is quite a lot of things. Okay. One, I'll say we've got taking little pieces from the video game. So expanding on video game lore, I guess is what I'll call this. And what happens is there are these little things that you're just like, are they gonna pull it into the TV show? How's this gonna work? And they make it work. It's good. You'll notice a lot of things are over here on the right, which is on the good side. Sometimes I'm not sure if it's faithful to the video game or if it's new, or this one is based on the video game, but they definitely 100% expand on it. So one of the things that I love is Ellie's stupid book of puns, Chew. Not TWO, but Chew. TOO. And the way she breaks it out, it's towards the beginning of the season, and she is just like, I need to break the ice. Joel is too much of, he's just too much. Joel is too much. We need to make him crack. We need to make him smile. And what do we got? What do we got? We've got the puns. Hold on. We've got a list of puns. I need to read some of these. And I have my reaction to some of them because they're so bad. They're what is your favorite pun? If you guys are in the chat here or afterwards, what is your favorite pun? And I've got the one from, I think, was it episodes, or was it the last episode? I forget. Oh, bad. But let me see. Episode 4. Episode 4 has some puns. Where are we? Puns. Oh, do I not? Not episode 4. It was episode 3. I will find them. I will find them. Hold on. Give me one moment. Again, this is the first time we're doing something like this. I should have prepared more. Should have prepared more. This is my bad. For okay. Hold on. Puns. Okay, so I remember diarrhea is hereditary because it runs in your genes. Okay, okay, how bad is that? How bad of a pun is that? Like, oh my God. I mean, it's good, but it's so bad. Diarrhea is hereditary because it runs in your genes. Like, oh my God. And that's when Ellie and Joel are about to go to sleep and they are, you know, right before they wake up to a gun in their face, which had no bullets in it. The gun had no bullets. But, okay, so the one from the towards the end of the season was had to do with meteors. Man, I took notes. I took because I was editing this. And I got interrupted in a few ways on the heater. The other one was the cat decided to sit in front of my camera and not move several times when I was recording. So I just had to say, can't do this, can't do this. The cat interference, everybody. Cat interference. But yeah, so the Book of Puns was something from the video games that I'm super, it just broke the ice and it made me laugh. I cannot imagine on set saying these things with a straight face and then not laughing unless you're supposed to. I'm gonna go back. I have my notes again. A lot of notes. I'm gonna find these freaking puns. We're gonna read them because everybody deserves to hear them multiple times. Okay. That was the jeans one. Oh my God. It runs in your jeans. Okay. We're gonna move on. If I can find it, we'll put it in there. But we'll say puns. So expanding on the video game lore, that is 100% hilarious and 100% video game. So that's there. We also have little pieces of notes, these little things sprinkled around throughout the video game that they decide to dive into. So they put an entire episode together based off of a character you meet and one you never meet. You just see a skeleton hanging in the video game and a note, which was a reference to flight. And they made an entire episode about Frank and Bill that basically made everyone who watched it, pretty much everyone who watched it, cry. If you did not cry during episode 3, I don't know what to say. Like, I probably have a perception of didn't cry. And I I cried a lot, but I also am not a person who likes these kinds of kinds romance TV shows or films. They're not my cup of tea. I don't usually enjoy them, but that was a nice episode. So yeah, they take these little things and even to an entire episode on its own, and it worked really well. They had the original writer from the video games on set. Um, oh, it's kind of late tonight. So yeah, and he was able to do what he planned to do in some areas that made sense. So that was Neil Druckmann. Where it made sense, expanded out, and yeah, did the original Last of Us, which, by the way, that debuted or that was released to PlayStation in 2013. So when you think about the time frame that they set, and I need to add it on here. So they expanded on the video game lore, but they also changed some things. This is an adaptation. They did not do word for word, beat for beat, character for character from a video game that a lot of people knew. They had the love of the game, but they also knew this is a different medium. They can tell the story in a different way. And so they had the original writer, Neil Druckmann, and then we have the creator, the writer for Chernobyl. It was a great, 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 great HBO series about something, again, that you already knew. Most people know the story of Chernobyl. He was able to adapt it for the medium that he chose to tell, which is a TV show on a from a company that is willing to put the money into the production value and getting the right cast and the right special effects. So one of the adaptations is they chose to expand on, and they chose to make some changes, and they are 100%, in my opinion, it was very well done. I don't know if anyone else, but we'll say this is one of those good things where um it was done well. There are other video game series right now that are not being done so well. I've watched The Witcher. We've seen a lot of drama between the main actors and the creatives, and sometimes it doesn't work when you choose to deviate from what people know and love. But in this case, I think they made a good decision. And when you listen to the interviews between Neil Druckmann and Chris Mason, they were very careful. They were like, does this make sense? How do we walk the story back? How do we go about adapting the characters? And it is really well done. Okay. It's getting a little late, so we're gonna speed this up. I know I can talk about The Last of Us for a long, 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 long time. But let's keep it moving. Keep it moving. Those of you in the chat, again, please let us know, or let us know after the in the comments. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Here's. Okay. I found one of the puns. The last puns in the thing. Okay. Why do moon rocks taste better than earth rocks? Because they are meteor. Oh, the puns. Ooh. Okay. we found it was right in front of my face. I just did not apparently. Um, faithful. I'm gonna say faithful to the video games, but in a specific way. So we're gonna say voice actors, using voice actors from games. So we had some wonderful, wonderful people who were part of the original game who got to reprise a role. In that case, we are talking about Marlene, and the woman who played Marlene is let me double check. I don't want to get her name wrong. Merle Dandridge. She played Marlene in the video games, and she was able to come back and play Marlene in episode 1, as well as I believe is it episode 9. Look for the light. Yep. So she came back as the same character. There were also, additionally, people who played the main characters in the video games got to come back. So we had in episode 8. Oh, wait, no, not episode. Episode 9, I believe. Oops, no, wrong button. Episode 9, we've got the woman, the lady, who looks a lot like Ellie, is actually the woman who plays Ellie in the video games. I believe that is Ashley Johnson. She was in her 20s when she played Ellie, when that debuted in PlayStation in 2013, to play Ellie's mom in the video game. Or in the TV show. How cool is that? Kind of crazy to think about. Excellent, excellent choice. It shows voice actors, actresses can be put on screen and do a fabulous job of acting. They do not need to be just regulated to their voice or motion capture. She 1000% added value to the scene that she was in, and it was so good. So that was her. We also have where is it? Jeffrey Pierce, who is the original voice actor for Tommy in the video games. He played Kathleen's right hand man, whose name was, what's the character's name? Perry. So he plays Perry. He's the big guy with the bushy beard, who's like the not army, but he's the military one who is Kathleen's right hand. Also, got a little bit of heart. He tries to convince her to do not so bad things and to let things go. But yeah. Yeah, so he was originally Tommy. We also have the person who played Joel in the video games also showed up. He showed up later on in episode. He was part of the crazy religious cult, so I'm less a fan of that. Very much so, less of a fan of him being a part of the crazy cult. But I appreciated it that they brought him back. They gave him some speaking roles. So who is he? Terrible at this. It's what's Troy Baker? Yes, Troy Baker. He is in a ton of video games. He's really good in them. But he plays James, who's one of the crazy cult people, who's helping David, keeping control of. So we got Marlene, we got Joel, we got Tommy. don't think there were other major actors that I am missing. If so, please leave a comment after 100%. Please do. You just see, like, there are some things I want to emphasize. And there are some things I'm just like, yeah, okay. Let's hit on something that I think most people are less than thrilled about. I don't necessarily mind it, but I can see why people do. Is especially compared to the video games, the lack of zombies. I wouldn't necessarily call it bad. I'll tell you why. For me, the fact that there are only a few episodes and a few scenes, of which I think there's like really 3 of them, where zombies take a key point in a large portion of episodes, is what it allows it to do is focus on the human connections, and it allows us to understand that sometimes in these crazy situations, it's not just the fact that there's this external crisis here, which is zombies that are out here to get the humans and kill everyone around the world. There are humans that are doing just as bad or worse things during this time. And they are the ones you have to be wary of. You know, the zombies are just mostly mindless. They're just trying to survive given their spore thing. But the zombies, you can understand them. Once you know what they are, you can be on the lookout. Humans are the danger here. And that is a huge, huge factor that you have to look out for, that most people aren't prepared. Can you be on the lookout for humans who are going to betray you? Yes. Are you truly going to be on your guard when it's your brother, your sister, your best friend, parents, your kid? No. You all have blind spots, and humans do that. So I know my personal taste. I am not a horror film aficionado. I am not a gore lover. So I was kind of happy that there was less of the crazy amounts of zombies. But when the zombies were on screen, I did 100% really, really like them. Especially the big scene where they came out of that pit and just like overran everybody. And we had these big, big fight scenes. It was cool. It was cool. Maybe there could have been a little bit more of it. Maybe less. I don't know. I did truly enjoy it. So we got that. What else do we want to make sure we hit? Yeah. So we got the voice actor. Oh my god, the cinematography. We're going back to good. Again, there's not that many things. Cinematography. And cinematography. Oh my gosh, I love cameras. I like photography. So beautiful. I think it's pretty similar to the games, but we'll put it in here. They were filming in certain places that just looked freaking gorgeous. And there are certain scenes that just worked really well. I mean, even yeah. Let's look at this. Look at that. Look at the snow and the bridges and the water. It's just We had that. We did a shot earlier of the carousel, but like really there was this mall that they built and they did shooting on it in the arcade. It just looked so pretty. Cinematography, very on point. Very, very on point. Okay, I said it's a little late. We're gonna wrap this up, and then I keep talking about this. Okay, let me go back. Let me go to something. Something I have a problem with, and this is introduced in the TV show, and this is the cause of zombie. I forget what it's called, how you say it. It's too late. But this whole thing, what Joel says is how everything got to where it is. What happened, how he tells Ellie, which she makes a joke. She's like, yeah, but I was taught in the federal schools. They don't teach us anything, which is true. If you're trying to hold control of the population, you're not going to educate them, right? But Joel's theory is that, backed up by some of the flashbacks we see in the earlier episodes, but the fact that these spores, these fungus things appeared in the grain and they were introduced into the food supply and they were put on the shelves, which then people bought on, what was that, Friday. And then by Saturday, Sunday, everyone had eaten all their cereal, all their pancakes, all their things, and turned into zombies. That is 100% not how it would have happened. There are so many realistic factors that would prevent this from happening. Like, this is someone who I ordered something from across the world, so it had to come through customs. It was stuck in customs for many, many months. I ordered my thing in October and it finally arrived. So when you're talking about things coming from overseas in a granary, in the plants to get mixed in with food, which then get shipped out all over the world to sit on a shelf and just have everybody grab them, eat it over the course of 2 days, and become zombies. That's not possible. It's a theory. I guess it could be his theory. Maybe that's what Fedra says. I don't know. But it would not happen. You still have existing food on the shelves that are not contaminated. People are going to eat those. Maybe some new things get introduced to the store. Maybe some stuff gets stuck in customs. It doesn't matter, but this would not happen this way. 100%, in my opinion, there's no way that something like this could happen in any stretch of the situation. You would not get things shipped overseas, gone through customs, put on the shelves, and eaten by people all in such a rigid, specific time that they would not figure out, hey, something's happening in this city. Hey, something's happening in this city. And then, like, bomb it and shut it down or whatever. It's just, it would not take over the world. In my opinion, other people might have opinions. Let us know in the chat afterwards. Who knows? But I think that's a bad explanation. And I'm pretty sure it was expanded upon in the show. It was not like an explanation that was given much depth in the video game. So that's my major pet peeve of season 1, I guess, is the unrealistic explanation for how the zombies came to be about. Or, sorry, not zombies, but the infected, because we are told that on set the word zombie was kind of not, they were told to refer to people as infected. Okay, my little rant aside, yeah, so we're gonna go up, and I think the last thing, there's so much I have to talk, there's so much I have to talk about, but we're not going to talk about everything. The last thing I want to put in here as a good item, we're going to end on this note, is the writing. The writing for this adaptation, phenomenal. They definitely had a good baseline to start with. They did a lot with the characters. But you know, there are so many good tidbits of what is in the show that is just, it sticks with you. It sticks with you. There's how Kathleen, oh, okay, so it just adds to how the cast work together to show the relationship, how you have Joel and Sarah and how they interact and play with each other, and like that relationship develops at the very beginning of the season, even when, you know, as a somewhat viewer of the video game, I knew exactly what was going to happen. Even though I knew it was going to happen, I was still on the edge of my seats. I was tied in to see how this would play out. You have again the puns that are developed, presented by Ellie as a way to break the ice. You've got the discussion between Joel and Tommy when they finally find each other, and how Joel explains how broken he is and how he won't be able to protect Ellie and get her to where she's supposed to go. You have Marlene at the beginning convincing Joel and Tess to take Ellie. You have, again, you know, even from the very beginning, you have Tess doing her best to try and get the supplies that they need to go find Tommy, and how she's convincing that guy was supposed to give them the battery, you know, not to kill her, not to beat up Joel, to like let them go, and they'll forgive each other and it'll all work out, and how she convinces Joel like they're gonna get back. It's just, it adds so much depth to the characters. And it works so well. I like there's even little things like when Joel's teaching Ellie how to shoot and there's some back and forth and she's like, the gun is incorrect, it's not working, and Joel picks it up and shows by hitting that asshole target. um, you know, there's a few quotes on here I want to hit just to show the icing on the cake. So Kathleen is trying to talk about Henry, and she goes, well, kids die, Henry. They die all the time. Do you think the whole world revolves around him? That he's worth everything? And oh man, that he's worth everything. You think the world revolves around, well, to Joel, the world revolves around Ellie. We have seen that journey through season 1, where they were complete strangers, did not know each other, and then they, by the end of the season, they've been through so many trials, so many things, and they end up being the world to each other. That's what it is. They are so important to each other. They're willing to kill, they're willing to die, they're willing to do everything for each other. Um, that's one quote. The other one that I want to end us on is Maria. She says something to Ellie when Joel and Tommy did that I think it stuck with me, and I think it's going to stick throughout season one. It's probably going to lead into season two, but such a good thing. And the way she delivers it is such a good way. Because you can only be betrayed by those you trust. And we kind of saw that at the end of the season, the very end of the last episode, where Ellie asked Joel, you know, was he telling the truth about the hospital and how she ended up not being the doctors who could provide a cure. She was told, we're going to do some tests, we're going to put you under, everything's fine. Joel finds out that she was not told that what they're going to do is actually take samples from her brain and basically kill her. And he goes on a one-man killing machine rampage. Everybody in the hospital, all of the Fireflies, kills Marlene. He cold-bloodedly takes out, I think, everyone except one or two of the nurses in the operating room. Which, by the way, if you're a doctor, somebody comes at you with a gun in your operating room, not fucking bring a knife to a gunfight. Like, don't go for your scalpel. But Joel kills everyone, basically. He rescues Ellie, and he takes her back to Tommy and that little utopia of a commune area. But he doesn't tell her that. He tells her a story that there was a fight, there were some raiders, her clothes were destroyed, blah blah blah. And she asks him, "Did you tell me the truth?" And he says no. Or I mean, he says he did. And you can see in her eyes that look that she probably doesn't believe him. She doesn't say anything at that point, but there's probably some doubt there. And this quote of "you can only be betrayed by the ones you trust," I think is gonna carry over. But we'll see how they decide to play it out. I still have a few more thoughts on this episode. So if you want, definitely, we're probably gonna do them as shorts because I hate editing. It is not my strong suit. So please, if you want to check out more of our thoughts on the show, we also have plans to do other interviews, other shows throughout this year. Please hit the subscribe button, leave us comments after the show. But we definitely, maybe this is a format, taking a look at the end of the season, maybe bringing some guests on, talking through this with each other. I might actually create a mood board of how I think this season went for this game or show based on what we've captured here. But we'll see what kind of format we do. I really enjoyed the show. I recommend, if you haven't seen it, definitely do so. Hopefully you saw it because we spoiled a lot of things already. But yeah, it's a good show. It's a good adaptation of season one. Excited to see where they go for season two. And honestly, it has really raised the bar for future video game adaptations, which I know there's a Super Mario Brothers movie coming out. There's a Dungeons and Dragons movie coming out. So we'll see if these nerdy, geeky, video gaming inspired adaptations can live up to what The Last of Us has set, because this has been a way to kick off 2023. I have high expectations for any TV series coming out this year because they have done it well and they've done it right. Anyhow, I think that's it for tonight. You all are awesome. Again, thanks for hanging out. Please subscribe to the channel. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. The more likes we get, the more subscribers we get, the more things we can cover and talk about. So we would greatly appreciate it. But you all are awesome for hanging out. We greatly appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. Bye.